Hey guys, we're here.
Hi, Matthew. How you doing?
Good Adair, how are you?
Really good, really good. We're stretching technology tonight. Did you know that?
Aren't we always?
Yeah, well, there was that. This is Fireside Chat with Matthew. And as usual, I'm here to do a bit of housekeeping before Matthew gets into the really juicy stuff. The technology that we're stretching is that we're actually live on 2 pages at once. So we're live on mytimetv.live, the channel, and we're also live on Matthew Greenwood Spiritual Journeys.
Hey.
So wherever you are, we're also cross-posted out to other pages, but we are live on those 2 pages. So if you do happen to be on either one of those pages and you make a comment, Matthew will see your comments. Hang on, there we are. We've got a couple here as well. Can I say hello to Donna and Daniel? I just did.
Hey Donna, hey Daniel.
I'd love to know where you guys are from. Like, where are you? Are you on Matthew's page or are you on my time? And where are you calling in from? Because we've had people from as far away as Texas.
We have.
Here we go.
In fact, there's a surprise for someone from Texas.
Yeah.
Hey Linda. Hey Janelle. Hey Christina.
Here we go. Doing really well. Really well. All right. So I've done that little bit. But the other thing I would love to ask you to do is to make sure that your friends and family and loved ones see this, because Matthew is full of wisdom and really good advice and some great stories, entertaining stories that have got, now what do they call them? Cautionary tales.
Cautionary to who?
They're full of wisdom, and they're actually, I love, when you share your stuff, it's amazing. And
thank you.
I really do enjoy it, and I'm just taking over here. Christine's here.
That's okay.
Hi, Christine.
That's okay.
So please make sure that as many people as possible get to see this great information. And if you are on Matthew Greenwood Spiritual Journeys page, possibly on my time, but maybe not. But if you're on Matthew Greenwood Spiritual Journeys and you make a comment in the comments, so Donna, Daniel, Linda, Janelle, Christina, and Christine may have already got a message in Messenger saying, hey, you've registered for a chance to win a spirit guide reading with Matthew, because we draw one every single week. If you get that message and you don't want to register, you don't have to do anything. Nothing will happen. If you would like to register, you just go through and pop in your details, so your email and your phone number. If you've already given it to us, humorous, if you want, just do it again or not. It doesn't matter. If you've already given us your email and your phone number, you are in the chat bot, so you don't need to go through it again. It just because it won't register you twice, but it's fun to do. So. And you may not have gone through the whole process the first time, so give it a bell.
Very true.
So Donna's going, nice saver there. On that note, I'll let you announce the winner from last week, and I will hop off into the background.
Okie dokie.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Thanks, Adair. Hey, Carolyn. Good to see you on board. So last week's was Catherine Britton. We're still getting on to Catherine. She's in New Zealand. She hasn't been well, but that is coming up. Now, this week's winner is actually not from Australia. She's from Texas. It's Sharon Suzanne Smith Jackson. How's that? All the way in Texas. So we'll be getting on to Sharon very soon. And tonight's subject, before I get on to that, what I'd like to do, because I've talked about a lot of things over the last few months, and I had to jog my dates about how long I've been doing the Fireside Chat, and it's been quite a good couple of months, and I've covered quite a lot of subjects. But what I'd like to ask from everyone listening is at some point, if you have a particular subject that I haven't talked about in relation to personal growth, spiritual growth, ETs, guides, you name it, anything to do with what's going on the planet at the moment, what's going on personally for people. If you've got a subject that I haven't touched on, then if you could send in a subject that you would like me to speak on, then I would love to do that. So all I need is suggestions, and we can get more.
Oh, pick me.
Oh.
Can I come back?
What's going on, Adair?
Can I come back and crash your party? Because I was just thinking, I was not expecting that.
Who is this person?
But I was this person that's crashing my party. So I have the control.
A little power.
I know the power of war. I was actually thinking, congratulations to Sharon, by the way. I've just popped your name up there. And I was actually thinking earlier this week, it's funny that you've mentioned that, because when you talk about psychic attacks,
mm-hmm.
and I just was thinking about, I must ask you, what are they?
Okay.
So I don't know whether that's putting you on the spot or not, but I just was actually going, well, that's something when you invited questions.
Okay. All right. Well, can we do that for next week? Because I've actually had an ask that I speak about something in particular tonight. So, and this is an ask not from humans.
Oh, so. Okay. Well, no, that's fine. I just thought that when you were asking, I thought, but I think it's a great idea. I really do. And if people you want to send in, you can send a message to Matthew on his page. I'll make sure he gets it.
What are you saying?
If I have to copy and paste it. But do send a message, because I think that's a great idea, because there's all these questions that do pop up. So, yeah, awesome. Okay. Can I just mention, Linda, didn't know your comments are coming through. They are coming through. What you'll find is there might be comments that we're responding to that come through on another page. So we get them all collated in the dashboard of this software, the live streaming software. So we can see your comments. We can see Doogie's as well. We don't know where you're coming from, but we can see you. All right, now I'll go.
I know Doogie. Hey, Doogie.
I'll let you do your stuff.
Okay. All right, so there's an open invitation from everyone. If you've got a subject you'd like me to talk about, then send it through, and I'll just pick my way through them, and because I don't want to have to recover things I've already covered, unless it's been a while since I've talked about it, and then I'm happy to talk about it again. Yeah, I've got an interesting subject tonight, and this is actually requested by the nature spirits. So how's that for it's going to be an interesting subject anyway. It's about humanity's evolvement and the Earth's evolvement as far as nature is concerned. So a lot of this is going to be coming through in the moment. So I don't have all the information in front of me. I've just been asked to speak about it. So here we go. First of all, of course, we're going to do a little grounding exercise, which is there for people to help to keep them stable in these ever-changing energies that we live in. And it's a very quick process. It might take us about 5 to 10 minutes online, but once you've done it a few times, should only take about 5 minutes, if that. I do it in about 20 seconds in between clients. And it does a great job of keeping my energy clean, space clean, and my energy refreshed. So let's do it now. So if you'd like to just get yourselves comfortable, it is only 5 to 10 minutes, so you probably don't need to get a candle going or anything like that. But please do sit up rather than lay down. Believe me, in 5 minutes, I've had people falling asleep in meditations. So Either it's a really deep meditation that I'm running or I'm very boring, one of the two. So just to start with, nice deep breaths. Nice deep, full, long breaths. And with each breath, roughly about 4 seconds in and 4 seconds out. And with each breath in, acknowledge this breath as not just oxygen coming in. This is a way of connecting with life force in a very clean, healthy way. So knowing that that breath in is taking in life force, because we can't do without life force. If we're not getting it in a healthy way, the only way to get it is to take it from people. And that's a subject all in itself, which we have talked about in the past. That's for another day. So this is taking it in a healthy manner. So just imagine every breath that you take in, this conscious breath that you're taking in, is one of taking in life force to fill your being, your auric field, the chakra system, which in turn feeds the physical body, the organs, life force within the physical body, which also relates to the flow of blood, which brings life to the physical body. Okay, so with the next deep breath in, taking a full one, then with the breath out, I'd like you to push that energy you've just breathed in down through your body, through your base chakra, your legs, your feet, and down into the earth, just like roots out of a tree, coming down into the surface of the earth, anchoring your energy. Mind you, it's going far more than just the surface. You would be surprised how deep, just at a base chakra level, your energy goes. Just a few more breaths accessing that life force through that way, down through your base chakra into the earth. Okay, very cool. Next one, so we haven't got as deep as we can go. Next chakra we're going to tap into is called our earth chakra. Now this is actually the deepest one we have, so we're missing a few in between. There's quite a lot of chakras down between the base and the earth chakra, but this chakra is right at the core of the earth. The earth has a chakra point down there too. When we engage with our earth chakra, we also become in sync with the earth's core chakra. So with the deep breath in, pulling that life force in, and then with the breath out, pushing that life force straight down to the core of the earth, to your earth chakra. And just keep using that technique to connect you with that earth chakra. That same breathing technique, pulling life force in with the breath out, pushing it down into that chakra point. So for people that haven't listened to this or haven't experienced this, our earth chakra relates to the connection to the earth energy grid, energy system at its deepest level. So here we are, an extension of our soul. We have a particular type of energy system which integrates with the earth's particular type of energy system. By doing this, we are integrating our energy into the earth. Whenever people are stressed, whenever people are in fear or anxiety, we lose that connection with the earth grid, with the earth's energy system, because our base chakra becomes disconnected. So this process helps you to stay more stable and more connected to the earth. So just holding that connection until you feel, some people call it like an all-over grounded feeling or a tingling all over. Generally when they're doing the base chakra, it's tingling down through the feet, which is energy. It's not your feet falling asleep. It's actually energy. Excellent. So that's our base chakra and our earth chakra fully connected. So now I'd like you to just relax your breath. So we're going to jump into a different part of our energy system. This is the highest vibrational level of our energy system. It's called our core star energy, but in essence what it relates to is the God force, whatever your beliefs on God are, the God force within. So the life force, or this pure high vibrational energy that is within everything and everyone. This is what we're going to tap into next. So diving into the center of where you see your physical body is, diving your awareness into that space, but knowing that we are far more than physical. We are massive in size within. Energetically, we are huge. It's just like Doctor Who and the TARDIS. When you go in through the door of that police box, hopefully everyone's heard of Doctor Who, it's only a small box, but on the inside, it's absolutely huge. We're the same. So what I'd like you to do now is dive beyond physical as deep as you can possibly go. Just keep diving deeper and deeper into your energy system until you see or feel a light or a high vibrational energy source. And as you connect with that energy source, in whatever way you see it or feel it, now I'd like you to interact with it. So this is not just for looking at, you can actually tap into it. So as you tap into it, allow it to expand out from your core, radiating out right through up into three-dimensional space, your physical body. So filling your physical body with light, knowing that as you do that, every cell in your body will be vibrating at a high frequency. You may feel, a lot of people do feel sensations in their body when they're focusing on bringing that light up from within. Now going beyond your physical into the human aspect of the energy system, which radiates roughly about 3 to 4 meters in all directions around you. Up, down, left to right, front, back. This is roughly the extent of your 7th and 8th energy bodies. So filling that space with light. As that fills with light, just keep filling it, compacting light into that space. And I'm going to count to 3 in a sec. And when I do count to 3, I'd like you to just let that light explode out in all directions. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Let it go. Beautiful. I can feel it from here. Just let it expand out. No limitations. No boundaries. Imagine it not going just through space, but imagine it going through time. Imagine it going through into your future. And if you anchor a prayer or an intention into that light as it radiates out, that light travels through into the optimum spiritual path you could possibly take. So that if you waver off that path, you will definitely feel it. You will feel much lower vibrational energy. The optimum spiritual path will hold a higher vibrational energy, just like you're feeling now. So in essence, that light is going to shine the way for your best path to take in life. So keep radiating that light out. All right. So now, as you feel that energy, this is something that you can do every day, a few times a day. The more you do this, the quicker you will be capable of doing it, and the more powerful your energy will become. So when you're ready, bring yourself back, and I'd like you to just reground your energy down through the base chakra. Just getting that grounding back again. All right, we're here. So if anyone's got any comments about that little meditation, I'd be happy to hear them. Now, what I'm going to be doing now is, I'm not 100% sure. I just know that I'm going to be connecting with the nature spirits. I know they want me to share a few stories of experiences I've had around the nature beings that are there. But they have something they want to say. So I'm just going to get out of the way and let it come through. So they're saying this is a unique experience for them also. There have not been many venues for them to be able to communicate in this way. They do their best to communicate with humans. They do their best to connect with individuals that come into forests. Some of this information I already know, but they're repeating it anyway. So when we have the opportunity, when people, humans, have the opportunity to go into a forest more than ever before, the forest spirits, the trees, all of the beings on all levels they're just itching to connect with us. So it's part of their purpose, particularly the plant kingdom. It's part of their purpose to actually feed us with energy. They do this with every being on the planet, with animals, with birds, with insects, with water creatures, with the elements. There's a constant flow and interaction and interweaving of energy that goes on between nature and beings. So they're also wanting to say that they would ask people that aren't well that aren't physically well, when they have the opportunity to rug up, even though it's cold, to rug up and go for a walk out into nature, because the energy of the plants will nurture us, will help support us energetically, and will also to help to relieve us of some of the symptoms that we're experiencing when we get a cold or when we get the flu. The problem is, what's the first thing we do when we get sick? We huddle up in bed in a closed room, and we keep breathing in the same germs that probably gave us the flu in the first place. So they're saying it is important to allow yourself to extend out into nature. There are many beings that are here to help humans in specific ways. Now, let's start with the plant kingdom. So they ask of you, if you aren't well, to look at what plants are growing in your garden, are growing around your property, because there will be certain plants that may be looked upon as weeds, and these plants are actually medicine plants. And they would ask you to do some research on what those plants are and how they can help you. And there are ways of finding out how to process those plants. Or at least if you don't know how to process the plants, it's a hint on what is needed for your body to support your health at this time. So they're asking me to share a story about when I was quite a few years ago, when I was on Rosebud Indian Reservation. I was going on a walk in the forest with a good friend of mine. He's actually my brother now. We have gone through ceremony, and so there was ourselves and a small group of people that I'd taken on a tour over there. And he was telling us about this particular medicine plant that was incredibly rare, very hard to find. But what it was for was cancer, and it helped. It actually cured cancer. But back when people were first looking for it, it was a very rare plant to find. Now, the plant is almost everywhere to be found. But when you go onto the reservation, there are many, many people that have cancer, just like there are many people here now. I think the stats about 30 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, was I think 1 in 8 people would get cancer, 1 in 9 or something like that. Now it's 1 in 2. That's not a great thing, is it? And I think it's becoming even more so. So we have to look at why is that happening, but that's another subject, which we have touched upon. Of course, it's pollution, geoengineering. There are many things, energetic engineering that's being thrown our way, toxins in the foods we eat, lack of minerals in the foods we eat, which support our physical body and the ability to let go of toxins. Also, the vibration of many people is down as well. And when our vibration is up, our body has the ability to relieve ourselves of toxins on many levels. So this is something that needs to be looked at also. But the plant kingdom is saying that it has a great support for people at this time. But we just have to get out of that old way of thinking, and it would do us a lot better to, at some point through a day, go out into the forest, even if you're not well, like I said, rug yourself up, and they will feed us with energy, which will support us. Maybe just for an hour or so, or even half an hour if you're really not well. But at some point through the day, it would be a great thing. Okay, so the trees are now wanting to talk specifically. There's a lot. They're saying there's a lot of conversation in regards to the pine forests and the processing that gets done on pine forests. Even I've questioned this, but I've had to talk to the trees, and I understand more about it having talked to them. So they want me to talk about this now. So the pine trees in particular, they say that we are one of the oldest types of trees. Pines go back millions and millions of years. The pine trees that you see in pine forests are from those early primeval trees that first existed on the planet. So they may only get a life expectancy here of, can be up to 70 years, but probably more so, it's 50 to 60. But the thing is, they know and they are aware, as much as it's a sad thing for us to see those trees cut down, they know that they're here to serve a purpose. And they have that, when they're planted, that intention of the trees being processed is embedded in their energy at an energetic level, which then feeds into their consciousness. So they have an expectancy that the trees will get cut down. And so they're prepared for this. There are other trees, the natural trees, the gums, which in the ideal situations, they will live a full life. But they wanted me to talk about something I experienced quite a few years ago. So probably going back about 6 years, myself and a group of people were looking at possibly taking on Warrawong. I don't know if I'm sure everyone's heard of Warrawong. It was closed down many years ago. I think it's probably like about 15 years ago now. And it had to do with why it was closed was due to the fire standards and the structures that were there. And we didn't end up taking it on because of the sheer reason all of the buildings would have had to have been pulled down and rebuilt, which would have cost millions. So that didn't happen. But what I found out was that beyond the plants that grow on the land, there is certain land that has a certain purpose, and it's embedded in the energy of the land. Call it the type of vortexes that exist in that area, but there are many areas many areas of land that are actually meeting places. So these meeting places go back millions of years. They go back through the Aboriginal societies. There have been other people here before Aboriginals, and they also would have been drawn to these same areas of land. Now, what happened at Warrawong, coincidentally, because it was a place where whoever started Warrawong in the first place, they chose that area because it seemed like a good place to bring people to see natural fauna and flora. And it worked really well. But what happened, it was fenced. So there are tall fences that are still there, I believe, to keep the animals in and to keep predators out. But what happened, because it was shut down for so long from people coming there, the actual purpose of the land wasn't being used. It was actually, those fences were now shutting people out of that land, which was a meeting place. Now, what then occurred was the fact that the trees became out of balance because of the fact that they were anchored into the ground that was used as a meeting place. The energy was shut down from people coming in, so the trees couldn't serve their purpose as they should have. And so what happened, those trees have a disease in them. And yet the trees around that area don't. It's the trees within that vicinity of the fenced area have a particular disease in the tree, and it's quite noticeable. And I got this information from asking the earth and the earth spirits when I looked at those trees because they looked unhealthy. So it's not only there's a lot that goes on with the earth and its energy and all of the beings that live on this earth. We are community. I'm not talking just about people. I'm talking about everything. So the trees, the animals, the birds, the insects. This community of beings should work together. But of course, what is the only creature out of all the beings that live on this planet that don't work in with the rest? It's us. So the problem arises with us that we're not communicating with the rest of the beings that exist in our community. This is where issues begin. So going deeper into this whole system of community with all of the plants, so just as we have guides around us, plants have a guiding energy, and they're called devas. But not only do plants have them, but animals, insects, fish, crabs, everything has an overseeing energy that works together with all of the other overseeing energies. So there's an overseeing energy for each magpie in a community, however big that community is. Same with the crow, same with willy wagtails, and so on. So this is something that just goes on without us even knowing. And it's why nature is always in balance where we aren't. So wherever nature is left to its own devices, it always stays in balance. And of course, we're the ones that throw that balance out of kilter. So the process for us is to learn how to speak to these spirits, these governing deva energies that watch over all of these different species of animals, plants, insects, and water creatures, so that we can stay in balance. Now, I had a interesting conversation with an ET, a galactic being, who has been here for some time. Well, there's several of them that seem to be connected with generally females, because, well, look, I mainly see females in my practice, but also females tend to be more drawn to doing herbal medicine work or naturopathic work. And I'm generalizing, so any male naturopaths out there, don't throw things at me. But what this being talked about was her people, her planet, and their life over the last 300 years. So why they're here now is because the situation we're in is where they were 300 years ago. So they've evolved beyond this situation that we're in. But this was the process that happened for them. So just like us, there was a huge influx of technology. They were basically quite a spiritual culture. They had already had connections with other galactic races. So there was already interplay of information going on between species. And so technology was one of these shared experiences. So just like technology has caught on with us, and we find it fascinating, and it's helping us. The same thing happened for them, but just like has happened for us, it's gone overboard. And so for them, they found themselves in exactly the same situation, because then they started to produce their own technology. And of course, what comes with that is pollution. Not only pollution of the air, but pollution of the waterways, pollution of the earth, and deforestation because of mining. Also deforestation because fossil fuels were needed, and also overpopulation occurred because, let's say, a balance wasn't there anymore, and there was this, people weren't, let's say, living like they used to, and they were finding themselves more in the home environment, which led to more children, just like it happens here. When people aren't active and aren't physically and also mentally active, they tend to breed, if that's the best way to put it. And so what happened with this is the whole planet became out of balance. Now, they had already had plans to move off-world to another planet, to let some of their population go, which they did, and they began opening up to this other planet to start afresh. But the ones that were left on the original planet, they began to turn things around only because, and their comment to me was, that they didn't have the same amount of control and manipulation that we do on our planet. And so when people of a spiritual nature spoke up about the imbalance that was occurring in nature, leaders listened. So once leaders listened, they realized something needed to be done, because it was progressing rapidly, the pollution and deforestation and the overpopulation. And so this was done. She gave me a vision of what her planet looks like now. You can barely see a structure. So what they did, they removed a lot of surface structures. They reforested. They brought a lot of structures underground. They began using free energy systems, which were brought to them. And one thing that they didn't expect to happen was the fact that when everything came back into balance, particularly with their spirituality, population growth stopped. Not completely, but it just stayed in balance with nature. Now, this was because as they came in sync with the rest of the community on that planet of trees, of insects, of animals, of birds, their whole energy system became in sync, and a balance, a status quo was created, and that stayed. And so this is what they're here for us now to do, is to help to educate people. So I've shared this story with quite a few people, that now have quite a connection with this particular being that would be with them, helping to support them, and helping to teach them, which I find really fantastic that this is going on, and it's an incredibly powerful thing that's happening at the moment with the galactic beings that are becoming closer, becoming more interested in speaking with us and supporting our growth. So it's 7:45, and that went really quick. So if anyone else has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And so Adair's got here. I live on an island that has protected pine trees. Yep, cypress pines. And cypress pines tend to be, being a bit of a woody because I'm a furniture maker. I used to in the early days. Cypress is a tree that's specifically grows in northern part of the continent, and it's incredibly hard, incredibly oily, and is fantastic for weatherproofing. So Kylie says, I remember seeing platypus at Warrawong, yeah, when I was a kid. And they still, I don't know if they're there now, but they do, well, back then, we're going back about 5-6 years ago, they did have platypus there still. So I'd love to hear any thoughts on what I've said so far. If you've got anything of interest you wanted to bring into this conversation. Donna's got here, does Gaia have God Force energy in the same way as we do? Most definitely. I was able to connect with an energy at the core of her recently, which felt similar to, yeah, it is. So that God Force doesn't just exist within people. It exists within animals, birds, insects, trees, fish, but also the earth. Now, this is the interesting part that a lot of people don't get, that the earth has a specific energy system. There is, people have heard of ley lines, but there's more than ley lines on the earth. There's an earth grid that goes deep into the earth, right down to the core. Now, that energy right throughout the earth is connected to God or to Great Spirit or the Creator, however you see that. We're all connected. If you could see us energetically, our energy isn't separate to everything. We're not just like this little egg walking around on legs, 2 legs, and the trees aren't just like an egg with roots in the ground. Everything's energy is intertwined. Everything's energy interacts, and there is even in the air, what we see is just nothing in the air. We know there's oxygen there. Does it have a telltale smell? No. Does it have a particular look or color? No. But we trust that there's oxygen there. Otherwise, we'd be falling on the ground. We wouldn't be alive. So what there is also there, which we can't see, just like we can't see air, there is energy. And so this sea of consciousness that is all around us is like it's like a telegraph. Because if you think about something, if you focus on something, you will, if you're grounded, you will attract that to you. Just like when you're thinking about a good friend of yours, say, and then all of a sudden they call you on the phone. Now, here's where you have to look. Did they call you because you were thinking about them, or were you actually picking up on the fact that they were thinking about you? That's why they called you. So, which came first, the chicken or the egg? But this communication line that extends everywhere on the planet, this is how people read thoughts. This is how we can do energy work. I do work with people. I was doing work with a guy in Canada only a few weeks ago. Now, how can that be? How can I do energy work on someone in Canada? It's because the only thing that limits us is our thoughts, our limiting belief systems. But there is a link that is there in that moment, between that myself and that gentleman in Canada. And he was feeling things that I was projecting into his space and helping him to open up chakras. And I was able to see into his memories. And so it's no different working with someone right in front of me or on the phone or using Zoom. It doesn't matter because we're linked to everyone and everything by energy. And this is the fascinating part about life, which if we open up our thoughts more, it would be an amazing thing to just see how far we can go. So, Trish Brown, any thoughts on cedarwood? I think I know why you're asking about cedarwood. So, cedar is particularly the leaves of cedar are used in ceremony. So certain timbers have certain specific qualities. There are some timbers that, like, so let's say Huon pine, that can have fallen down in a storm. The tree could be semi or fully submerged in water. Classic tale is when the Franklin Dam was filled with water. That used to be a forest. And so there were hundreds and hundreds of trees down there that were flooded. But Huon pines weren't affected at all because there's a natural oil in Huon pine that holds the tree stable. And so there were all kinds of things going on there with, this is my woodworking background now, people actually cutting, believe it or not, rigging up chainsaws, waterproofing them, putting on scuba gear with air being pumped down to not just the person, but to the chainsaw, going down under the water and cutting the tree down. And the tree would bob up to the surface, and they were pulling the trees out of that area because they weren't allowed to put roads in. They were pulling them out with Chinook helicopters, double-rotor helicopters. So guess what? Huon pine was used for boat building in the early days. So for cedar wood, cedar is an incredibly weatherproof wood, but for ceremony, it has a very refreshing smell and apparently a purifying, not pungent odor, but it's quite a sweet odor. And when you sprinkle the cedar leaves over the rocks in a sweat lodge ceremony, they sparkle. It's like little fireworks going off. So that's a very typical thing to think, really, because each tree has a different purpose. So Christina's saying, do you know the Aboriginal name of the mini tornado? No. Oh yeah, I call it a whirly whirly. Had an experience of this outside of Tail and Band when I came to SA last Christmas. Well, look, just like anything, there are sometimes there can be vortexes of energy not only in the ground but above ground too, and sometimes with the right set of circumstances, those whirly-whirlies can actually be triggered by chakra points on the earth, because mostly energy rotates in a chakra, and this can actually help create weather systems too. And of course, what happens when those chakras, say, damaged, or the Earth's energy grid is damaged, then that affects the weather patterns, which biggest thing is when you put a whole lot of houses together without trees there, this affects the weather patterns. And this is one of the reasons why they've been messing around with geoengineering, chemtrails, is because the weather patterns have changed so dramatically in the last 50 years because of the overpopulation of people and the deforestation and just these, what are bare patches of land with just a whole lot of roofs on them, which do not actually support the weather systems that we would have been used to before those houses were put there. So, you know, it's one of those things that we need to, at some point, go back to finding that balance. And that's what nature is looking for. They're looking for us to understand how to work with them. So Linda Cottrell's got a question. How do underground structures interact with energy ley lines and earth chakras? Good question. Depending on the chakra, depending on the structure, what the structure is made of, there are definitely certain, let's say, structures or ways structures are built that need to be looked at and need to be changed. Of course, it's not an easy thing to be putting structures underground, but there are ways of interacting with the earth, and all we need to do is to communicate with the earth, and she'll help us. She always has and always will. We just need to be asking the questions and not being the bullies and just doing whatever we think we should do. So it's a matter of communicating with the earth and with any being that, or with any governing diva energy that is supporting this community that we live in. And when I say community, I mean everything: trees, plants, animals, birds, insects. This is what we need to be remembering, that we're a part of something. We're not the top of the food chain here. The earth would do actually a whole lot better without us being here than with us here. So we're really, I think that in the Matrix, it was put incredibly coldly that we are the virus, and in a way we are, because we're like a foreign body in something that has balance. And when a foreign body is placed in something that has balance, disease occurs. So more and more people are doing this, are listening. There are many shamans that are coming together across the world now. And there are many medicine men, medicine women, and elders of different cultures that are coming together to fight for the earth and to fight for the people also, so that we understand what we need to be doing to help ourselves and to help the rest of the planet. Because the things that are going on this planet, there are many things that shouldn't be. There should be enough food to go around for everyone, but there seems to be an excess in Western cultures, and no way of actually feeding people in, say, Africa, and it's just totally out of balance. And this is wise, because we're not working with the earth, we're not communicating, and we need to be. So look, on that note, I would love to hear from you guys about subjects that you'd like me to talk about. Happy to do that. And don't forget to do your grounding exercises. So I do, like I said, I do them every Thursday night for you, but this is something that needs to really be done a couple of times a day to keep your energy stable. And also congratulations to Sharon Susan Smith Jackson. I look forward to doing reading with you. So thank you very much, guys. That's our fireside chat for tonight. And I would love to see you next Thursday. I think I'm going to be talking about psychic attack. Thank you, Adair. So that'll be a big night next Thursday. So don't forget Monday night meditations, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.